Today we're going to talk about the top 8 car insurance companies for 2024. I'm personally going to explain why I don't agree with almost anything that this article says from money.com. Not to say that I don't love most of your articles, but in this scenario, I don't agree with most of the selections that you chose. They start off with saying Progressive is going to be the most customizable, and that's probably true. I actually agree with that. But then the next thing you say is Insurify, which is linked as a partner. They're not even in the mix. They're a shopping company that you fill out a quote and it goes across multiple companies and then you just sell the data. If you want 10, 20 phone calls, there you go. Perfect option. The plug to that is if you are shopping and you do want to talk to a local agent without having 20 phone calls, I'll put a link in the description below. Your best option is to talk to an independent agent. They have the ability to do this shopping with most of the companies out there. So if you're checking Nationwide and Safeco and Progressive and a lot of these companies that are actually in this list, even though I don't agree with some of them, then you have that option with the link in the description below. The next one that we said is Farmers, best for essential workers and first responder discounts. So I didn't even know that they had one. Also, our partner, it says. There you go. There's why that popped up. Farmers is a great company, depending on the agent that you work with. I have friends that are Farmers agents, and I actually started my career in the Farmers umbrella of companies. So there's not a whole lot of hate towards them. They're not a horrible company. It's just they're not really flexible. And the first responder thing, if there's a discount for that, that's even better. I actually enjoy it. I kind of like that. Long story short, they're a decent company. They're just not mixed as far as the pricing goes. And to say that there's a big discount that's going to give you these fire people, the first responders, a discount, I would be shocked if that makes an impact that makes them competitive. Nationwide, also a partner. So it looks like the first 3 companies that they're telling you all the partners. Nationwide is a great company. It's actually in my list of top companies, but they don't want business like they used to. So getting into Nationwide is becoming more of a hassle than actually getting the price that you want. So if we scroll down, we're gonna come up to Amica. Best car insurance package is Amica or Amica. They say they give you a free airbag replacement, which that's kind of what they're known for, is if your airbag goes off, they've got some replacement coverage for that. Everybody covers it if you have a claim that's covered. I don't understand that actual coverage. To me, it's a gimmick, but it's cool for those that get the same price and you want that little extra coverage, there you go. They've been known for having good reviews, which is what they are more known for than anything. That's one of the reasons I made a video on them that goes over in depth what I think of that company. In general, they're just average. They have great reviews, but those have dropped drastically. It's not really my number one that I would lean toward. They offer some $1,000 bail bonds in most states, and they offer non-binary options for gender. If that's something that you're worried about, there you go. They've got that option. The next up is Progressive, who is in my top list of companies, and I know they are sponsored and have a relationship with them, but they're still a great company. They have a lot of forward thinking. I've recently made a couple of videos about Progressive to where they're just the general fit, and they say customizable premiums is Progressive. So they offer a ton of discounts, their best one being if you paid it in full. I've had some customers, I knock off $600, $700 off their payment. Granted, they're paying a lot, but those that have those high premiums in states that are higher are going to get a way better deal if they're willing to pay the whole bill. The name your price tool to me is not interesting. I don't want you to name your price. I want you to know what coverages you should have, not just tell me how much you want to pay. It does matter if you can pay the bill. I even forwarded my wife our increase that we have this year with tears coming down my eyes as emoji. Because it is, we're going up $60 a month, and it's ridiculous without any changes, but it's the way the market has changed for certain companies. You're going to see a lot of rate increases from different companies, sometimes multiple rate increases, depending on the company that you go with. Progressive, I believe, has done most of their rate increases, so if they're competitive, odds are you're probably getting the newest rate that they have available. Again, it makes sense to work with an independent agent in that scenario because those companies like Progressive and Nationwide and Safeco and Travelers and a lot of the companies that I lean towards that have been super competitive work with independent agents. So having one person that can check them all gives you that window to understand what options you have available. State Farm, I completely disagree with this. Not that they shouldn't be in the list. I actually think they should be a good company, but it says for young drivers. I don't fully understand that. State Farm agents, let me know in the comments below. Are you guys competitive for young drivers? I don't even picture you even remotely close to competitive for young drivers. Although if that's the case, then more power to you. You're going to get that best slot. Unfortunately, at least in our state and many of the states that I've seen, they don't really even want a lot of new business as well. They're falling into that same suit as Nationwide where they're like, hey, we might have too many customers. We might have underpriced our product a little bit. Let's catch up first and figure out what we want to do going forward. They have the Drive Safe and Save, which honestly everybody has, and it's probably my #1 watch video on this channel where I did a review on that. It's not favored. There are benefits. If you're a good driver, by all means, that Drive Safe and Save is going to help you save some money. For those of you that are looking to not necessarily do that program, then it's not really going to be a great savings for you. The other thing that I've noticed that State Farm is starting to do outside of car insurance is with the homes. You're seeing a lot of these TikTok videos all over where State Farm is going on roofs and they're denying all these claims because the agents are saying there's no damage here and it's a tin roof, but there's dents all over. Or the shingles are crumbling and they're saying there's nothing wrong. Some of that isn't necessarily the scrutinizing of that. That's what's being blown up in social media because we've got to point the finger at somebody. And unfortunately, State Farm is the one getting caught doing that. But again, that doesn't necessarily fall on the company unless they're pressuring the agents to say no. The part that I don't love is with a lot of those situations, a lot of the defaults, even Allstate's falling into this boat where they're not doing full replacement costs. And essentially that means if the roof is damaged, 10%, 20%, whatever the case is, if you can't get it fixed and it doesn't look the same, then you just got to replace it. They're doing what's called a scheduled roof or an actual cash value to where the value deteriorates over time. So for those of you who are looking to bundle and get the home with it, just be knowledgeable that might not be a good option for you. Again, that's a coverage, not the company. Find out if they offer the coverage if you like the company. The next one is the Farmers Insurance. This is the actual review. Best for essential workers. Guaranteed value coverage pays out. An agreed value for your car is totaled. That's everybody. Now, you usually pay more for that. Unless Farmers is offering it with the policy, which I don't think they are, then you're going to pay extra for that. That's fine. Progressive does it. Nationwide does it. Safeco does it. Apparently Farmers does it. I'll bet you State Farm does it. Honestly, I think everybody does it. There's probably a couple select companies that don't offer either better car replacement or new car replacement. They're two different things, and I might link a video that goes over that. Kudos to them. It says they were the first insurer to offer alternative fuel discounts. Most companies still don't even offer any EV discounts, although they're built into the VIN. When you have someone run that car and it pulls up EV and it has all the safety features, they're more worried about your liability and if you get injured than they are the cost of the car. Yeah, the cost of an EV vehicle repair is 3, 4, 5 times as much as a regular car, especially with the battery. Then you may have some issues where the cost is higher because of that reason. This says a con is they don't offer gap insurance, which I find that hard to believe. If you're a Farmers agent, let me know in the comments below. Do you guys offer gap insurance? I can't imagine why you wouldn't. Nationwide, which by the way, I'm gonna re-rank these here in just a moment in the order that I would recommend. I'll put a link so if you wanna skip what I'm saying and just go to what I would do, then there you go. Best flexible policies nationwide. Get discounts for Smart Ride, Safe Drive app. And then they also turn around and say it's not available in all states as the con, which is true. It's in most states. The Smart Ride and Smart Miles are two different programs that has excelled nationwide. They said, okay, we can do an app. We can watch your driving, like the Drive Safe and Save, all these telematics softwares, but let's do a mileage-based one. So let's just say lower price, base it on your mileage if you're gonna be a low mileage driver. That was a really cool and a unique idea that nobody really does. It's usually not offered unless you're doing one of those pay per mile companies. And in those cases, a lot of the reviews on those aren't that great anyway. A con is that they don't offer accident forgiveness, which I don't believe they do, at least in the states I've written them in. I don't think I've seen that available. Correction, they do that. I recently was looking at that and there is an accident forgiveness option, but you pay for it, which you would with every company. There's packages with some, there's a la carte, which is what Nationwide does and allows you to add that as an option depending on the state that you're in. The next up is Geico. Best mobile app is what they're saying. That's cool. That's a powerful tool. I don't think I've ever had a complaint on any of the mobile apps, but Geico is that company right now where they're super profitable. They are very meticulous on the policies they wrote. They're also writing a lot of high risk. Like that name your price tool that I said I don't love. Geico does something similar. They just let you go on the website and pick what you want. Here's the state minimums. Do you want those? Great, they're cheap. Guess what? You get in an accident, you're not covered because you didn't buy it. So they don't have a lot of losses. Even though when they do have a lot of losses, they don't have to pay a lot out because they're not having that issue where they have a large coverage because you chose what you wanted. That's where having that independent agent comes into play, sometimes just for the advice, but also to find the company that's a fit for you. It changes over time. You may be a fit for one today, and in 3 to 5 years, maybe not tomorrow. Allstate, I have actually not a lot to say about them. I don't mind them. They're a good company. They've been good at training their agents to talk through the coverages and focus on the value, which is usually coverage for you. The only thing I don't love is the house situation. They're similar on the roof like State Farm is, not necessarily denying claims, but the coverage, just make sure you have the right ones. The only gripe I have is the price. The price of Allstate right now is drastically, and I say drastically, higher than most companies. Now there are a few scenarios where they are cheaper, which is a great fit. So then I lean towards them. So then in that case, I wouldn't lean against them, because if the price matches to what you're looking for and Allstate comes up as an option, I wouldn't shy away from them. There's nothing special about what they're doing, but they are a really good company in general. Oh, some of the pros and cons. So pros is they do offer a discount for new drivers. They also offer a bonus every 6 months if you are accident free. Those are really nice give backs. I prefer to have those, and if that's available, I'll take it. Drivewise, not available in every state. Not a big deal, because honestly, I'll bet you it's only 2 or 3 states that aren't available. Probably California, Hawaii, and Rhode Island or something. And then con, is actually what I just said, is online and local agent premiums may vary. It's not that they're changing the price because they legally can't. It's just the right coverages for the right person tend to be a lot more expensive. Best for military is going to be USAA. I would say hands down no better option, but to be honest with you, lately, and I say lately the last year and a half, USAA has dropped the ball in general. Their customer service has been lacking. Their price has been really high, just like everybody else. But compared to the rates of 2024 and 2023, they've just essentially caught up with the market, but their caught up is higher than most companies. Now, if you want the die hard, I trust one company because it's military, then there you go. You can't join them unless you're either part of the military or a family member of someone who is. If you are active military, they have a really cool on-base coverage. I think they're still doing that to where you don't pay extra when it's parked, you get a storage coverage. And so that's really cool. For those that are a fit for that, USAA is your company. Outside of that, if we're comparing the price and the coverages, Nationwide usually beats their price and has equal coverage, if not better coverage. I would probably even say Allstate, if they're competitive, actually has a little bit more coverage in most cases that I've seen. Still, not a reason to knock them down. They're still a good company. They're probably in my top 10 if I were to pick a company. They fall out because they're so niched into that active military or family member of military to where it's just not a fit a lot of the time. Mark, you mentioned that you would change up this order. I would remove a couple companies. I'm sorry, friends, and you're gonna hate me for saying this, but I would take Farmers out of the mix. They're really just not worth taking the time to check. I would probably just shop with a different company if that was the case. State Farm, I would leave in, but that's gonna be near the bottom. If I were to list the top 4 or 5 that I would go with, I would probably list Safeco for coverage, not necessarily price. I would do Progressive for the overall. I would do Nationwide actually as my number 1, but joining them is very difficult because they want proof of a lot. They've been really good. They're good with claims. They're not over pressuring agents to do certain things. There's just a lot of decency in this situation where a lot of these companies are having a lot of losses, Nationwide included, but they've, instead of saying, let's just go crazy on the price, let's slow down and reevaluate. So a year from now, we'll make another video that goes over this, and hopefully they're still in that bucket. Travelers has been super competitive. They're a 50-50. Some people hate them, some people love them, but overall their prices are decent if you have the right coverage previously. That's a whole nother video, which is, maybe we'll make that one next, but they've been good in general. And then Amica would be in there, even though they're not independent where they're exclusive and you can only quote with them, they're still a good company. They've been decent as far as a company goes. Just read the reviews in your state just to make sure that they're not going downhill as the time of this video has been made. So let me know what your thoughts are. Did you agree or disagree with that article or what I'm saying? Obviously this is gonna be stirred up and we're gonna make a follow-up video here in probably about 6 months. So subscribe if you wanna get more insight on companies that are competitive. How would you order them if you were to pick the companies that you've had experience with? If you are looking for that next step and you're just like, I don't want to shop right now, but I want to learn what my next steps are, I've got a discount video here that might help with your current policy. If you're looking for better coverage or you're just trying to understand the coverages, I've got my Car Insurance 101 that'll go a little bit more in depth on what coverages to guide you to what you should carry. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.